Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Kelvin here, CPF, where you are forced, where you happily keep 20% of your pay for 40 years while it gathers interest and dust, so that you can finally use it when you become old apek and old ama. Like it or not, CPF is here to stay. And as they say, if you can't fight them, join them. And what better way to join them by knowing all the ways to make full use of your CPF money. So in this video, I will share 5 CPF tips and tricks that you can do right now so that you can squeeze every possible benefit from your CPF. So let's not waste any time and let's start right now. Tip number 1, top up the special account. When hearing this, you may be like, wow, the government take away 20% of my pay, not enough ah. Now you want me to happily contribute more money into it ah. Hear me out, it may seem counterintuitive, but topping up the cash to your special account has a few benefits. First, CPF SA gives 4% interest right now. Just in case you are unaware, it's impossible to find any risk-free investment that can give anything higher than 1.5% now. For example, if you check the DBS multiplier rates, you will see that realistically, it only gives around 0.4%, which they say multiplying is easier for everyone now. Give me a second. Multiplying is Paylah for everyone now. That's better. Or if you check statutory simple, they can only offer you 1.2%, but it has a small chance that you will still lose money. So instead of letting your money sit in your bank like a lazy bum, you can consider transferring it to your special account and let it grow risk-free at a godlike 4%. Second benefit, you get to save on taxes up to $7,000 of your taxable income every year. So let's say you earn 80k a year, you are at the 7% tax bracket, right? If you top up 7k to your special account, you pay less $490 in taxes, which is quite a huge amount. Add to the fact that your 7k will compound at a 4% interest every year until you retire 40 years later, which by then that 7k becomes 33k. But with that being said, even though the benefits are good, there are still some downsides to it. First, this top up is only one way. Whatever money you top up to SA, you cannot withdraw it until you retire. So don't happy top up everything to SA just to save on taxes, because your money will sit there until you retire. Second, the 4% interest sounds good, but if you know how to invest your money, 4% is actually super easy, barely an inconvenience. In fact, the S&P 500 has delivered an annualized return of 10% over the long term. Third, even though CPF hasn't changed the interest rate yet, there's still a chance that CPF will reduce the SA interest rate in the future. So I would say that only use this method if you really don't have any better use for your money. If you need a step-by-step guide on how to top up your special account, Dollar & Cents has a tutorial teaching you how to do it. I will leave the link down below. Second tip on this list, transfer money from your ordinary account to your special account. Here's why. Your OA gives 2.5% interest, which is quite good. But you know what's better? That's right, 4% interest on your SA. By transferring over, you will earn extra 1.5% interest. So to illustrate, if you have 50k in your OA earning 2.5% interest, after 40 years, that 50k becomes 134k. But if you transfer it to SA, you earn 4% interest. After 40 years, you will have 240k. That's 106k extra just by transferring over. That means after you retire, you have more money to buy fish at your favorite Cai Fan store. Your Cai Fan auntie will be so impressed by you, and she will always call you Shy Girl every time, even though you are already 60 years old. But wait, before you go and YOLO all your OA into SA, here's some things to take note. First, this transfer is only one way. You can transfer OA to SA, but not SA into OA. So once you transfer over, the money will be locked up in SA until you become old apek and old ama. Second, your OA can be used to buy a house and for education, but SA is not able to do so. So if you have plans to get a house in the future, don't transfer all the money into SA, because you will end up not having enough money for down payment and your wife might run away, leaving you and your goldfish. But otherwise, transferring cash from OA to SA is a really good way to earn some extra interest on your CPF money. If you need a step-by-step guide on how to do it, I'll leave a link to Dollar & Cents article that shows you how to do it. Third tip, CPF Nomination. They say that there are only two things that are certain in life, taxes and death. Well, you can't avoid taxes because the police will come and catch you. And as for death, The more noob you are, the more times you will die and see grey screens. Jokes aside, when you pass away, your CPF will be passed on to someone else. So by making a CPF nomination, you can tell CPF who to give the money to. Maybe it's your wife, or a kid, or even your dog. True story, a dog is even richer than me. I don't know how to feel about that. Now let's say if you didn't make any CPF nomination and you pass away, here's what's going to happen. The money will be distributed via intense custody laws, meaning priority will be given to certain people under certain conditions. For example, if you have a spouse and children, your spouse gets half and the children gets the remaining. Now, here's the interesting part. If you never make a CPF nomination and the public trustee needs to help you decide who gets what, they are going to charge you a fee to settle this. First $1,000, they take 2.4%. Next $9,000, they take 1.5%, and so on. So let's say if you have jibaban or $1 million in CPF, they're going to take a total of $3,084 from you. Nice. So it's super important that you make a CPF nomination, otherwise the public trustee will what big. Making CPF nomination is actually super easy to do. There are two ways to do it: in person at CPF office or do it online. Online is obviously more convenient. CPF has a step-by-step guide teaching you how to do it. Fourth tip, use your ordinary account to pay for house down payment. Alright, let me give a background for those who are unfamiliar. When you buy a house, you can borrow up to 75% from the bank. Then remaining 20% can be paid through your CPF and 5% must be paid in cash. A few years ago in 2018, when times were still good and when we could still travel overseas, the government finally allowed home buyers to keep 20k in their CPF OA, instead of wiping out your entire CPF OA to pay for down payment. Because of this, there were several articles recommending you to keep 20k in your CPF OA and pay the remainder of the down payment in cash. The idea is that if you have 20k in your CPF OA, you can earn a guaranteed safe 2.5% interest and extra 1% on your initial 20k in OA, which equals to $700 per year. Another reason was that if you have 20k in CPF OA, even if you become jobless, you won't have to worry about paying for your mortgage. The 20k in your OA will be able to pay for your mortgage for a while. Personally, I wouldn't follow this advice, but instead I would do the total opposite and recommend you to use all your CPF OA for down payment. Let me explain. First, sure, you get to earn 3.5% safe return in the OA, but let me just tell you this, if you invest your money in the stock market, you will easily get a much better return than just 3.5% over the long term, considering that the stock you pick is good lah, of course. For example, most of the REITs in Singapore are giving an average of 4% dividend yield. Or if you check SIFE Equity 100, you will see that the annualized return has always been around 10%. Or as mentioned earlier, a simple S&P 500 also gave around 10% annualized return, all of which are already much better than just the 3.5%. Second, it's true that if you have money in your CPF OA, you will still be able to pay your mortgage with CPF in case of unexpected events. But if you already have 6 months emergency funds, which everyone should have, then the 20k in your CPF OA is a bit extra already, because you don't need so much emergency funds everywhere. With that being said, these are just my opinions only. Everyone's situation is different, and what works for me may not work for you. So, to get a professional opinion before deciding if you want to keep or wipe out your CPF OA for down payment. Last but not least, fifth tip, invest your CPF money. As you know, your CPF money can only earn around 2 to 5% interest, which is actually quite good. However, if you have extra CPF money that you do not need for anything, you can consider investing it to get a much better return. But here's a few things to take note. First, there's some very specific list of stuff where you can only invest in. Like you don't see cryptocurrency in here, which makes me sad, because if everyone could invest your CPF into Dogecoin, everyone would be a millionaire by now. Just imagine that. Second, because the government is scared that you might lose everything, the government needs you to have a balance of 20k in your OA and 40k in your SA before you can invest. Third, only invest your CPF if you are confident in your investing skills. It has been found that in 2020, 50% of people who invested their CPF either lost money or performed worse off than just keeping it in CPF. They'll be like, invest my CPF money, and it's gone. If you want a safer way of investing your CPF money, I would suggest to avoid individual stock picking. You wouldn't want to play with your retirement money, right? Instead, consider using a robo-advisor to help you to invest your CPF money. As of right now, only Endowers is able to do it. Endowus core portfolio with a balanced settings is able to deliver around 10% annualized return, which is actually quite good. If you need Endowus referral, you can find it down below in the description. But all in all, if you do not need to use your CPF money, you can consider investing it. So those were the 5 tips and tricks to optimize your CPF. What other tips and tricks do you know of? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe as I'll be posting new videos every Monday and sometimes Friday.